Community Radio on 104.5 KCZW LP Conroe and 106.1 KZCC LP Conroe and worldwide on irlonestar.com.
And welcome to Chamber Chat. I am one of your hosts, Courtney Galley, the Director of Special Events for the Conroe Chamber of Commerce.
And I'm Ashley Allwood, the Director of Marketing for the Lake Conroe Chamber of Commerce.
Each month, guests are brought on to talk about what is happening in the Lake Conroe Chamber of Commerce. We get the inside scoop of our members, what they do, and what has made their company successful. We also chat about upcoming events and programs the Chamber is hosting. The Chamber is a nonprofit 501c6 organization and is designated as a 3-star accredited chamber by the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. The mission of the Chamber is to strengthen the economic environment and quality of life in Montgomery County. We hope you have your cup of coffee because of a great lineup this morning. Didn't mess up.
Way to go, Courtney. I mean, there's a first time for everything, I
know,
suppose,
right? But I do have to update this because I think our mission has been updated.
Yeah, potentially, yes. I mean, our mission is always the same. We're advocating for awesome businesses in our area. But
right.
Yeah, I think the verbiage might have changed.
Yeah, I got to update it.
It's cool. It's cool.
Today's election day.
It is election day. If you haven't already gone out for early voting, make sure that you are hitting up your polling station today. The polls are open until 7 p.m. tonight, so don't slack. And if you're a business owner, a business manager, and you're like, oh, well, you need to make sure that you make time for your employees to go and vote. I mean, it's their businesses, it's their community, it's their taxes, it's their flood mitigation plans that are on the ballots today. So make sure you let them go and go vote.
Yes. We want people to get revved up. If you haven't seen our revved up campaign, you've been not on social media.
Yeah, you have really been living under a rock because we have been putting it everywhere. And it's the first year that we've really pushed it a lot. It's for register, educate, and vote. So get revved up here in Montgomery County. And like I said, make sure you get out there before 7 p.m. today.
Yeah. And if you need to find where your polling location is, you can go to our Facebook and our social media stuff, and you can find links to that, or you can go to,
it's elections.mctx.gov.
Yeah, because some locations may have changed, so make sure you check that out before you go to your polling locations. But please, get out and vote. We don't care how you vote, just
that you vote. Yes.
Yes. We just want you to get out and vote, so don't forget to do that.
Absolutely.
And we have Catherine here with Spherion. She's our guest today.
Hey there.
Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we're glad to have you.
Yes.
So we're going to be talking about what you do and how you're involved with the chamber, and probably a lot about workforce and job creation and all that good stuff. So why don't you tell our listeners a little bit about you and your company, and then we'll dive in from there.
Absolutely. Well, I'm Catherine Kleeman, and my husband, Justin, and I are Montgomery County natives.
Yeah.
That's right. And so we had an opportunity to purchase a franchise of Spherion 11 years ago now.
Oh, wow.
So we, before we had children, we took the leap of faith and started a location first in Bryan College Station. My husband's an Aggie. You whooped a minute ago. And then we always had a goal of ours to expand to our hometown area. So we were able to open our Conroe office 5 years ago this month, actually.
Oh my gosh.
Excellent.
We are excited and blessed and have been. So my husband was in the HR business prior to, and I was in the sales and marketing business, and somehow ended up in the staffing business, and absolutely love it. So we partner with a lot of companies, both in here in Conroe and throughout Montgomery County, and are just honored to be partners with them in staffing.
Hometown too of Brenham.
Yes, we do. Yeah. Yes, we do. It's Washington County. Yes, we do. So we have 3 offices.
Yeah.
So as far as staffing goes, do you guys focus on any certain industries, or is it just all willy-nilly all over the place?
So we have a professional services recruiter. So we focus a lot on professional services. Here in Conroe, we have a team of industrial recruiters, so we do a lot of light industrial, and then we have a clerical recruiter as well. So we focus on a little bit of everything, but by recruiter, we try to specialize in what their area of focus is.
What are you seeing a lot of requests in right now?
So we, 2015 and 2016, we saw a slowdown in some manufacturing simply because the oil and gas industry slowed down. So that changed a lot here in Conroe. The Conroe Economic Development Council has done a great job of really attracting and diversifying. And of course, there's growth that's been really untamed and unable to stop. And that's a good thing. We like growth. But really, we've seen a major effort to diversify the industries. Still a lot of industrial-based businesses, but a lot of distribution, a lot of manufacturing outside of oil and gas. The unemployment rate is at historical lows here in Texas, in the United States, and even specifically
here
in Conroe.
Right.
So that's a good thing. I mean, but we're definitely seeing that tightening of the labor market. Affect change across the board in pay ranges and creativity and how we are meeting needs for staffing across the board. Companies are really putting their thinking caps on. So and that's what they're having to do. So that's what we're seeing is a lot of creativity and how can we use the workforce that we have to meet your goals and needs. But we're definitely, your question was about industries, and manufacturing has definitely picked up, but there's even here in Conroe and even in oil and gas. So
Cool. It's good to hear from somebody that's kind of on the front lines of hiring and stuff. Like we see different things because we're in the chamber business, and we do work very often with the EDC, the economic development piece. We kind of see a skills gap or workforce development type of thing a little bit differently than maybe you would. So it's kind of interesting to kind of see it from each side. We've been huge proponents and have backed the bonds for the Conroe ISD bond issue that's coming out, that is out, that people need to go vote for today. Business backs the bonds, and how important education and CTE education and all of the educational items that we have, the opportunities that we have in the area, how they reflect into then where you get to see these people, what is their training, where is their training, and where are the jobs to put them.
We have a major skills trade gap again across the United States.
Right.
The oil and gas industry amplifies that here in the Houston area. There's no doubt about, or in Texas and in the Texas economy in general. I love what I'm seeing from the school districts and their attempts to meet those needs and really change some communication from the K through 12 arena. I'm excited about what Conroe ISD is putting forward, what they're already doing. They're already taking steps, and they have been for 10 plus years to really meet those needs, but really take the next step. Willis ISD took that next step a couple of years ago, and of course this last year opened their CTE facility, and it's phenomenal. And I think we're going to see some shifts across the state and hopefully see some of those demands met. And these are great jobs with higher wages and things we all want for our communities as taxpayers, and growing that base and giving those opportunities to our local workforce.
Yeah. Do you see any trends or changes coming up with the younger generation?
Of course. We're now
a hot topic. Always.
It is. I have done some presentations recently on Gen Z, which is actually the generation that's exiting high school and college now. And what we're just seeing them enter the workforce. We're just getting to know them. We've apparently asked them a lot of questions and what the surveys are saying versus their millennial counterparts. And I'm an older millennial, so I'll wear that badge of millennial, proudly, even though most people seem to not. But, what are some of those differences between Gen Z and the millennials?
Right.
there are some things that when we've asked Gen Z questions, they're actually answering things tending to be more traditional in their desire for stability, desire for financial security. Where the millennials tended to not worry so much about some of those
was
things.
on the top of their list.
Right.
They wanted
Wasn't
to
on
be
the top.
entrepreneurial
Right.
and all this type of stuff. And now it's like, oh crap, I got to pay for this,
Yeah.
and I got to.
Now
having
Gen
kids,
Z does want to be entrepreneurial, but they see opportunities. They're discovering opportunities at their fingertips to earn extra money on top of potentially a stable, a
Right.
Monday through Friday W-2 income. They're finding earning potential ways on YouTube, even
Side
as
hustles.
high schooler. Yes,
Right.
as
Right.
the gig economy is offering them opportunities because they grew up in it. They're
Right.
digital natives and they're comfortable in that.
Yeah.
So they're certainly previously the millennials are a part of the gig economy in the highest percentage number. I think in a couple of years when Gen Z is here, it's going to surprise us. I would venture to say it's 75% of Gen Z is finding some way to participate in that gig economy as, again,
Right.
either a side gig or so is it going to disrupt our economy? Is it already? I mean, the millennials brought us flexibility. They brought us
Right.
all of those terms. Gen Z grew up with those expectations.
Right.
So we will see some differences. Manufacturing is feeling it pretty quickly as
trade certifications and stuff like that. I mean, what you're talking about with the CTE programs and stuff, that is where we're seeing a very large gap in the skills of people that are living in Texas or living in America in general. That kind of skills gap of like, you can have an $80,000, $100,000 paying job, but you can weld
Right.
to do it instead of being an entrepreneur and starting your own gig and doing all this stuff on your own and that type of thing. And what you're saying is kind of maybe it will turn back into that. They'll realize that they have the stability and security in some areas, but be able to do something more creative or more fun on the side.
Well, and again, I think the communication in the K through 12 changed and Gen Z, a lot of what we're hearing from them is they remember their parents going through the quote unquote Great Recession. Texas made it through the Great Recession a little better than most areas, but they remember that. They grew up in that. And so that's where some of that financial security is coming in. One of the things that manufacturing's having to really deal with front and center, though, is, again, these are digital natives. These are 18-year-olds who've grown up with a phone in their hand. And they don't know what to do without that phone in their hand.
Right.
So how is manufacturing responding in an environment that's not exactly prone to or able to be on that cell phone? So you're seeing some unique things, and some of our partners are going, we need this workforce. We need, we know our baby boomers are exiting in mass numbers.
Right.
We want to keep them. We want to keep them happy. We have a client that has phone. They allow phone breaks. It's 5 minutes to go check your phone every hour, because you've got to remember these people. Their parents were used to being able to get in touch with them. They didn't let their kids go to school without cell phones because they wanted to be able to get in touch with them.
Right.
So we've raised them. I mean, I'm raising 3 right now, so we've raised them. Now we're going to have to deal with what that looks like in the workforce. We just like, again, I'm an older millennial, so even my think I've changed over my 20 years in the workforce. You see changes. I laugh when I do some of those presentations, but
I think it's interesting, like not just beyond actually training the people to know the trades and training kids that are coming out of high school and college and that type of stuff, but training the employers. Yes. Training the companies to I mean, it's a different world out there. And yes, the trajectory kind of was like steeper than we all kind of anticipated, but it is what it is.
Right.
And if you're behind, if you're lagging behind, if you're dragging your leg like Quasimodo as far as technology goes, then, where's your company going to end? If I see that a lot in my past, being in radio and television and print and stuff like that, as the marketing director for the chamber, I've been in these different industries. It's like, how do we make ourselves relevant again? You know, do we go online? Do we have apps? Do we have, how do we train people? And I think it's an interesting kind of wrinkle in how all this is going to end up and continue to evolve is how we train employers to understand who's coming out of the, coming out into the workforce,
Right.
and how to get and how to make them want to work for them. I think it's a difficult question. you know?
A lot of employers are talking about it, and that's the good. If you're an employer that's talking about it, then you're in good shape.
Right.
If you're thinking about it, then you're in good shape. But we have spent a lot of time, again, with Gen Z. You referenced kind of employer brand, and that's something Gen Z. 40% of them say they won't even apply to a job without looking for a review about that company or about that job.
that's interesting.
Online
On
or
Glassdoor.
on social
Right.
media.
Right.
And so employers are really also having to look at what is my employer brand, because I'm not even going to get these candidates to apply if I'm not monitoring that on social media.
Exactly. This is something.
That's a great point.
It's a great point. For our professional business development seminars that we do at the chamber every 2 months, the first one in 2020 is reputation management online. And we're having somebody come in that has done rep management for the Lakers and all sorts of people. It's going to be really amazing.
That's awesome.
And not to like toot our own horn, but I'm tooting it. But we're having, it's going to be a really incredible breakfast. And it's so important.
It
and
is.
people just don't get that. Even just a bad review on Google or just one goofy person on Facebook or something can really affect, how people feel about your brand. And if you aren't consistently monitoring that and consistently answering those in a diplomatic and cool way, then you're just doing yourself a disservice.
Right.
And you're getting behind the eight ball.
Monitoring it is the most important of what we've heard. I mean, and what the surveys and studies are telling us. One bad review isn't means for panic. In fact, what the Gen Z people were, when I read these reports that I've read and these studies I've read, they actually like to see that you were real on social media.
Right.
But if you've got 20 bad reviews and not very many good ones, then you probably have reason to be concerned.
And there's importance in how you answer them as well.
Absolutely. How
if
you
you're just
respond.
like, you're a crook and blah, 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 whatever. It's like, well, give me a call offline. Let's talk about this. Let's figure out what the issue was. And we're so sorry about your experience, Let's talk about it offline and see how we can help. When people see that, it's like, oh, well, maybe they did screw up, but at least they're keeping it real and are looking how to fix it. They're interested in learning. So, which is a huge part of what you have to be when you're in business. You have to always be curious and want to learn. So, and grow.
That's we could probably talk about this
Yeah.
all day,
Right.
all that interesting stuff.
Yes.
I'm a Gen Xer, so I'm way ahead of all of y'all.
Yeah. Well, I'm right at the cusp myself. 1980. So
Yeah, I'm 81.
there we are. See,
yeah.
I just got you. Haha.
Yeah.
I'm a Gen X.
Depends on what study you read.
Right,
Are we
exactly.
whether we're a Gen? What are we called? There's been some that
there
call
is
us
the
Xennials.
Xennials.
Yeah,
Right, I saw
Xennials.
that
We're
too, yeah.
Xennials.
I'm not into labels, okay?
That's right. My husband's 80, and he tries to say it's really just me, 81, and that I'm the millennial, but I'm a proud millennial.
Me and Justin, we're together.
That's right.
I feel you, Justin. I feel you.
Gosh, I can't think of anything else. Are there any other kind of things you want, like any other?
Do you guys
things-
have any
yeah.
staffing events?
Yeah,
anything like that coming up?
We are constantly recruiting for top talent. We have a lot of, again, our opportunities right now. I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about some of our positions.
Definitely.
But
Let our listeners know.
We are certainly, right now we are recruiting for those skilled trades, welders. We've got some machine operator positions. We are working with a good sized distribution company here in town. So we've got some of the just the picker packer warehouse distribution positions. And then we actually have quite a bit of administrative positions right now that we are filling in, again, a variety of industries, but the administrative position within that company. So some basic accounting skills, some high-level computer skills, those kinds of things. So we are always looking for that kind of talent, and we we would love to talk to anyone and everyone about their job search. And I know it's personal, but we've got a great team of recruiters that love to. If you haven't talked to a recruiter and you're thinking about looking for a job, and the nice thing is we can give you a pretty good, honest assessment of what the market looks like, which is one of the things it's good to do.
Yeah.
And
I think it's a real misconception about staffing agencies that they're just like temp services.
Oh, that's
And,
true.
and I mean,
Yes,
you,
that's a
got,
great
you, can,
point.
you can go in and kind of get interviewed, see your resume, sometimes get your resume edited and figured out and redone and that type of stuff. They have different staffing events. You can talk to somebody that really, really knows how the workforce is right now and get put somewhere, like have a headhunter looking for you in a way. It's not just a temp agency. I remember when I got out of high school and college and stuff, looking for summer stuff. I'd be like, well, I just go sit somewhere and get $8 an hour to answer the phone or whatever. It's not like that anymore.
No.
Right.
And it's like Spherion and a handful of others in the area are just so good at that and want to find you something that fits.
Right. And that's, one of the things that we say our job is to be networked and to know the economy, to know the workforce environment. So again, it doesn't cost the job seeker a thing to go have a
Right.
conversation with a recruiter, because sometimes we will, especially when we've got a lot of people relocating to Conroe,
Right.
And they end up here because of a spouse or something of that nature,
Right.
and they don't know the market. So a conversation with a recruiter can say, you know what, you've been in this industry. We don't have this industry in our market, but what we do have is this, and here's how we're going to need to really
Right.
tailor your resume to say,
Right.
let's highlight these skills that are transferable.
Right.
So that's one of the things that we think is a positive. And
Right.
yes, I mean, it may take a little bit of your time, but hopefully you don't see
Yeah.
it as anything other than your time, and
Right.
hopefully you
The
see
thing
that
is,
as valuable.
If you don't have a job, go in there and sit
Right.
in there in the afternoon and spend a couple hours with somebody really getting to know you that's going to find you something that is a great
Yeah.
fit.
Right.
Like that. I mean, that's a no-brainer. Go
And
do that.
75% of our jobs are not temporary either.
Right.
They
Right.
are they are
Definitely a
seeking
misconception, yeah.
long term.
Right.
Our clients are seeking long term employees,
Yeah.
and that is, again, when we get to know the companies and our partner companies, our goal is to get to know them even beyond just what hard skills they need, but
Right.
what soft skills work well. What is their corporate culture, so that when we're interviewing our candidates, we're looking again beyond just those hard skills can be trained. Culture fit and soft
Right.
skills.
Yeah.
Companies want people who are happy, because happy employees are
Yes.
the most productive employees.
Right.
And you're not a happy employee if you're miserable in the environment in which you're working.
Right.
So when we interview, we think we can talk through the hard skills pretty quickly,
Yeah.
but what we're looking for is what are
Yeah.
those soft skills, and where is that best match going to be?
Well, even too, I think about like resumes. My resume, I mean,
When was the last time you really truly updated your resume, like really gutted it and did
Well,
a good job on it?
You should have a LinkedIn profile
I
and
do
make
have
that
a link,
your.
I do have a LinkedIn, but I probably. Well, I mean, I didn't interview for the job I have now. Scott just hired me, so that's been 5 years.
Right.
Probably when I was looking for a job when I left the CVB, so that was 12 years ago.
Right. Right.
Everyone have a LinkedIn profile, and
So I
make
do
sure your
have that. I
LinkedIn
do have that
profile is
going.
basically an online version of your resume.
I do
So-
have that, but yeah, I mean, my resume is probably the same it looked 10, 12
Yeah.
years ago.
Right.
Yeah.
If you had like 3 tips for somebody looking for a job,
Oh,
3
that's
tips,
good. Yeah.
like, have your LinkedIn, have your resume, whatever those kind of 3 things are that people can do today and get done, what would they be if you're looking for a job in Conroe, Lake Conroe area?
Okay. That's a great question. Again,
Thank you.
I do think we've talked a little bit about social media, and LinkedIn is not as much of a social platform.
Right.
However, it is in the professional sector. You have to understand that hiring managers are looking at LinkedIn. So make sure that you have an updated LinkedIn profile. Make sure it's professional. Make sure it's emitting that professional version of yourself. It's free.
Don't
it's
be
easy.
shotgunning a beer in your profile
In your
picture.
LinkedIn profile, not appropriate.
Not ideal.
Not
ideal. No
appropriate.
shotgunning
Not
beers,
appropriate.
guys.
Don't be afraid to brag on yourself. Don't be if you've gotten awards, make sure they're there on LinkedIn and on your
Differentiate
on
yourself.
Yes,
Yeah.
on your
Yeah.
profile. So that's free and easy and fast, and really it's not just for a certain industry. It's at this point we're recruiting as many skilled trade talent professionals via LinkedIn. So that I would say that's number one. Number two, I would say if you are struggling in the market, talk to a recruiter. There are lots of we do know, again, our job is to be networked in the community and to know the companies, even the small businesses, because those small businesses are the ones that are struggling to even have an employer brand or a website.
Right.
So, and some of them are the best places to work. So, it gives you a network that again, free, only costs you a couple hours of your time.
Right. Don't be
Yeah.
too proud. Go and get some answers.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I'd say make sure, look beyond LinkedIn. I do a presentation. I mean, if you're a job seeker, you have to know that when you are just attending chamber events or networking in town, everything you're doing, all of your social media platforms at that point are representing you as a brand.
True.
So just, I always say, what I tell, we do this presentation to high school students and college students a lot, and we talk about your brand. I am very clear not to go change your brand to be something you're not.
Right,
Because
don't be
again, you don't want a company to hire you and them think they're hiring somebody you're not. You
Right.
want to love to work there. You want that to be a fit. Don't
Right.
go change your brand, but make sure your brand message, monitor it, know what it's saying.
Right.
Because maybe it's representing something that is not you. So
Right.
make sure and
Yeah.
give yourself an overall brand. Your dress, your dress and attire when you're attending chamber functions or attending community functions. Are you meeting the right people? Are you, shaking their hand? Is your resume saying the right things? Is it?
Just take account of your own personal
Right.
brand in a way, which has been a big thing with like Gary Vaynerchuk and those type of people online. Like, what are you putting out there? What aren't you putting out there? You know,
Right.
what that type of stuff. But it's just something to kind of keep, keep in mind. If you got your Daisy Dukes on, or if you got, you're dressed appropriately at things
Right.
and that type of stuff, then I mean, it's an ongoing thing. You're always on.
Yes.
If you're if you're in the market for a job and you're looking then you're always
You're
on.
always interviewing.
Right, right. Because somebody might know somebody
right.
and be
Right.
like, oh, dang, like I know a perfect
Majority
connection.
Right.
to even with all the technology out there,
It's who
most
you know.
companies tell you their number one recruiting source is referrals.
Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, if somebody wanted to get a hold of you,
Yes.
how would they do so?
Our number 936-207-1150 here in Conroe. And then they can reach Regina Shelton is our branch
Yes.
manager here in
Love
Conroe.
Regina. We love
Very
some Regina.
active in
Yes,
the chamber.
she is.
Catherine Kleeman at Spherion.com and Regina Shelton at Spherion.com are probably the easiest ways, or
Yeah.
again, pick up the phone. Our phone number is textable as well. So, I
Hey.
mean, you can
Yeah.
even text us.
Wow,
So-
you're fancy. Y'all
That's
fancy.
right. We're
Love that.
fancy. So,
Well, that brings up a good point about Regina is very involved with the chamber.
Yes, she is.
Tell our listeners kind of how important it is to be involved in a local chamber for your business. 'Cause-
Absolutely. Again, for us to be networked amongst all the other businesses in town. Again, I've already said it 10 times. That's what we do.
Right.
So it's crucial for us. It's crucial for our success
Yeah.
to really have an opportunity, and you guys give us an opportunity to shake those other business owners' hands. For them, our business is a relationship business too.
Right.
Those companies are hiring us because they trust that we will get to know their soft skill needs and their corporate culture. They've got to see us out and about in town
Right.
to trust that we know the market and trust
Yeah.
that we know them and
Right.
trust that we're seeing them
Yeah.
outside of 8 to 5. Again, the chamber gives us the
Yeah.
morning mingles are a great opportunity for us to quickly advertise our business as well as network.
Yep.
Lobster Fest was wonderful. It was recently. It was recent, and
Yeah.
it was wonderful.
She was a great help. Yes.
She is a great help,
Yeah.
and we've loved being involved in that for several years.
Yeah.
So, again, for us, we need to be where other business owners are, and the chamber gives us a great opportunity to do that.
We're the covered wagon circle,
There
as
you
we were
go.
talking about a couple of weeks ago.
Right.
We're the wagon circle. We're the front door, the welcome mat to the city of
right.
Conroe and the
Yeah.
Lake Conroe area. And
Yeah.
we're incredibly grateful to have you guys on the not just on the show, but as part of the chamber for sure.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate it very much.
Yeah, and if businesses are looking to use your services as well too, they can reach out to you as well.
Absolutely, always.
Job
Perfect.
seekers and employers.
That's right.
Yep.
Knock it out of the
right.
park. Thanks so much for joining us
Thank
today.
you. I
Thank you.
appreciate it very
Stay
much.
with us. We're going to take a quick break, but we'll be back to talk about other stuff that's going on at the chamber in a few minutes. We'll be back with Chamber Chat on Lone Star Community Radio.
This is Rick, TRC. Every Tuesday on my show, Afternoons with Lone Star from 3 to 7, I play back-to-back classic rock hits. That's right. I like to call it a 2 for Tuesday or a 3 for whatever it is you'd like. Call the request line 936-647-3776 or message me on Facebook, Afternoons with Lone Star, make a music request. That's right, you can do it. Here's what else. Go over to our website, irlonestar.com. Get the app on your phone. It's easy. You'll like it.
Lone Star Community Radio is Montgomery County's radio station with talk, music, weather, and traffic for Montgomery County. Have a question, comment about one of our shows? Want to know how to reach a host? Just contact the station on irlonestar.com or call in and leave a message at 936-647-3776. Get involved with your community with Lone Star Community Radio.
Hey y'all, it's DJ Mike from Dance Time in Texas. Join me Monday through Friday at 8 a.m. as I count down the top 10 Texas Red Dirt songs that are packing the dance floor. I'll be featuring local artists and the story behind the hits, shows in the area, as well as new songs that make you want to dance. It's Dance Time in Texas with DJ Mike on Lone Star Community Radio, 104.5 KCZW and 106.1 KZCC, Conroe, Texas, or online, irlonestar.com.
A Lone Star Community Radio is looking for those who are interested in hosting their own talk show, with monthly and weekly slots available on Conroe's FM 104.5, 106.1, and on irlonestar.com. Start your own podcast, create your first YouTube channel, and be on TV. Contact Lone Star Community Radio online at irlonestar.com or call the station message line at 936-647-3776 to take your first step into the radio world.
And we are back with Chamber Chat on Lone Star Community Radio. I'm one of your hosts, Courtney Galley,
And I am your other host, Ashley Allwood.
guest host.
I'm a guest host. I
There's like the
suppose.
sound of that, you know, 'cause
Yeah.
it makes us feel, I don't know.
Like fancy, like we have actual people come in here.
Sometimes
that-
we have studio audience. We've had twice a studio audience, right?
Well, I mean,
Right,
Dick kind of counts as that. I feel.
Well, we want Dick
yeah.
to be part of the show too, our producer.
Yeah, why not? I mean, you could totally. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know if
see?
you have anything
Well, I'm
important to
here to
add,
We
but
make him talk sometimes because we feel like we're legit if our producer talks.
I'm
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, he's here.
I'm here.
But we've had a studio audience, I think twice, Dick, right?
Well, yeah, there's a lot of homeless people around. No, I'm just kidding.
No, we've had actual people in here before.
Yeah.
And we've claimed them as our
are you
studio
saying homeless people
audience.
aren't actual people? Like what? This is going off the rails.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
really is. It really is. Yeah.
Thanks for contributing,
Well,
Dick.
sometimes you just don't know what's going on. So
Exactly.
Yeah.
They all got to know. It's
Right.
Conroe. They got to know. They got to know.
I'm calling it our studio audience. We're
There
just
you
going to
go.
call it that.
Right.
But we are back. We've been talking with Catherine with Saphirion about jobs and the marketplace and trends in the in workforce and all that good stuff. But I do want to mention some upcoming events that we're having at the chamber coming up. Next week we're having our volunteer appreciation luncheon. saying thank you to our board members, our committees, our diplomats, anybody who's volunteered at any event. Next week at Top of the Tower, just to say thank you for all you've done. We're also inviting our Emerald and Platinum members and doing kind of a state of the chamber, what we've done this year. So that's taking place. And then in December, we're having our Hail and Farewell reception, which is a thank you to our elected officials. And that'll be December 9th at the Top of the Tower from 5 to 7. The public is invited. We're inviting all of our elected officials to come so you can kind of shake the hand of your elected officials and say thank you for all that you've done. And then I'll get to the other stuff. I'm talking about the big events.
Oh,
lady.
whatever.
The big
Mine are
events.
the big events, and then the bigger events are coming up
I was just
after
like,
yours.
we got other stuff coming
I see how
up.
it is. Yeah, no.
And then we're having in January, which will be here soon enough, we're having our gala on the 23rd, honoring our chairman, Brent Wunderlich.
Yay, Brent.
And the theme of that is, the places you will go. It's a travel theme.
Travel and Dr. Seuss.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. So it'll be a little different this year because we're having on a Thursday evening. It'll be at the convention center.
I like that too, though.
Yeah, I think everybody will enjoy it being on a weeknight instead of taking up everybody's weekend on a Saturday. So, and then, ironically, talking about jobs and everything, we're having our annual job fair. It's going to be the 8th annual. I think Jennifer is a little shocked that we're on the 8th one. But that'll be January 28th at the Lone Star Convention Center. So if you are looking to have a booth, we have registration available. And if you're a job seeker, it's free to attend that event. You don't have to pre-register for that, but we are taking registrations for booths. And Catherine had a good point about job pay that we're going to be talking about. So why don't you give a little bit of a statistic about that, because it was very interesting information that you had told us about during the break.
Well, people ask me on a pretty regular basis again, what does the compensation look like in comparison with the state, in comparison with the areas. So we were just starting to talk a little bit, and I'm always interested. I love economics of that kind of stuff. So I'm always interested to see again how my small business mirror. Are there similarities to what the state's seeing or what the nation is seeing? So from 2017 to 2018, just my small business, we had an increase in wages of about 3.5% of our average pay rate from 2017 to 2018. 2018 to 2019, we are seeing that go much higher. And just again, in our Conroe office, our average hourly pay rate was $13.80 per hour in 2018. So we put in our 3 offices, we put over 1,000 people to work. So that runs a gamut of industries, pay rates, positions, everything. But that was 2018. Our average hourly pay rate was $13.80. In 2019, our average for the year is $14.88. So that's an
$1.08.
increase of $1.08, which is I haven't done that math, but what that percentage is definitely more than. Let's see. I don't know. I'm probably not supposed to do this live on.
That's okay.
Radio,
Math is
but
fine on radio. It's for great radio.
Let's see.
Mathing.
7.8% increase.
Wow.
So
That's
that's
amazing.
double the percentage
Yes.
increase from 2017 to 2018.
That's amazing.
So that's a lot.
That's great.
Finance people ask me these kinds of questions a lot. So it'll be interesting to see what the U.S. as a whole looks like at the end of 2019. But those low unemployment rates are definitely pushing that wage up.
I mean, it absolutely. With all the jobs that are happening here, there may be a skills gap that we're working on, and that type of stuff with economic development and workforce, development and that type of thing through the ISDs and all that type of stuff. But I mean, people are coming here. Conroe and Montgomery County has been
growing in the country.
has been the fastest growing city in America in
Yeah.
2017, and that type of stuff. And I mean, people are coming here, and you have to entice people in some sort of way. You know, I mean, if you're offering $12 an hour or you're offering 15, it's like I'll take that 15 because those $3, add those $3 and $3 bills just keep on adding up.
Right,
You know.
right.
So it's very cool to see that kind of be one of the effects. You know, it's not necessarily just cost of living or just, you know, difficulty of job or something like that. But we're having to raise that because there's so many great people coming here and you want to
Supply
entice
and
them.
demand. The demand is
Well, I would
high.
think the number one
so-
reason probably to leave a job would be pay. I mean,
It is. It's still the number. People talk about everything else, and all of those things can,
Yeah.
in different points in people's lives, can take a little bit of priority.
yeah.
But over the years, by and large,
Yeah.
number one is salary.
Yeah.
Even if a jerk pays you a lot of money, you're probably going to stay working for that jerk for a little bit longer than maybe you would want to because you're getting paid decent. Like, I get to go home after this. It's all
Yeah,
right.
I mean that would be my primary motivation would be pay. I mean,
It's
just
definitely,
to be honest, I mean that
definitely
would
top
be
2 or 3.
yeah, for sure. You know,
Across all generations.
Yeah.
Again, no matter
money talks.
money still talks. And when the message out there is, especially right now, there's no denying that the demand is high for talent and labor.
Yeah.
And that message most candidates know. So it's considered a
Yeah.
candidate driven marketplace right now. So they know that they can have
you-
those,
It's like a
have
seller's
those
market.
conversations.
Do you still see women getting underpaid versus men?
That's a great question. Not for the same job. You know, it's hard for me in the same job.
Yeah.
No, we usually have a pay rate for the same job. The job, some of the characteristics of some jobs are going to be different. You know, you bring up manufacturing. There are simply, the reality is there are jobs in manufacturing that require physical abilities that maybe men have that women
Right.
don't have.
Yeah.
So are those going to create some differences in compensation potentially? And then, you know, as you grow in your career, where we see a big difference is, you know, women, and I'm one of them. I have 3 children.
Right.
We make choices a lot of times in our career that changes a trajectory or changes
Right.
a path for a while that may cause some differences. I tend to say I don't see that really in a
Right. Comparing apples to
apples.
Right.
Apples.
There's not a
I
difference
read the
there.
same stories you guys do,
Right.
but I've oftentimes said I don't see that as
Yeah.
really as hands-on in an apples to apples scenario.
That's encouraging. Yeah.
Has there been anything around town that you've seen that would really, as far as education or anything like that? We talked about the CTE programs kind of becoming what they are. What else have you seen around town that's been really integral to what you feel is workforce development and getting you the type of talent you need?
Great question. Again, we have wonderful school districts here. We are very blessed and very lucky, and it's part of the driving factor of our
Right.
growth, both for businesses relocating here and people wanting to be here.
Right.
Our school districts are phenomenal. I love what they're doing in CTE, but one of the things I talk about, and I've talked about with administrators in all the school districts we work with over the last few years, has been, we're getting them again. Those hard skills, they're coming out with some hard skills that are preparing them for college and preparing them for or a career, or with the CTE the skills trades, hard skills. How do we prepare them? And the teachers are asking this. I mean, they're not oblivious to it.
Right.
How do we prepare them for the soft skills required to be successful on the job or in college, or where they're taking their next step once they leave 12th grade? And the teachers understand that transition is hard these days, and it's hard for a lot of reasons that the school district can't control. When I go in and talk to these students, again, what are they doing with their cell phones? What are during the work or during the school day? Most jobs aren't allowing you to be on that cell phone all day long. So what are the schools?
They require you to be off of it in order to do your job.
Right. So how are the schools messaging that? And I get how difficult it is in the environment in which these teachers are having to teach these days. But then when you start a new job, what's allowed? We have these conversations with the 18-year-olds on a regular basis. you can't miss work in your first couple of weeks of work. It's gonna
highly frowned
it's
upon.
highly frowned upon.
Right.
But that accountability can't be matched in our K through 12 environment. So it is the
Right.
teachers understand that they're doing
Right.
what they can.
There is
to-
going to be a gap there.
to communicate
Yeah.
that and to communicate expectations. And they're asking all the time, how can we do it better? In fact, most of the reason I get to be on these campuses is because they want somebody else that's not the teacher to tell them,
that. Yeah,
you know,
right.
this is what's going to be expected of you when you go into the workplace or
Right.
when you go to college. Those professors don't care if you show up for school
don't.
or for class or not. So
They don't. Right.
what you've got to take some self-responsibility, and even in the workplace, if you don't show up, you're not showing self-responsibility, you're going to lose your job.
Right.
I find a lot of this, I mean, now that I have a daughter of my own and everything, a lot of this lands on the parents. I mean, if we're talking about the CTE piece and what is offered in schools and everything, you get all these hard skills and you can do anything physically. But if you aren't responsible, if you aren't self-starting, if you aren't, accountable and, that type of stuff, apologetic, any of those things, then, I mean, how, like, that comes from another place that somebody, a stranger, or even somebody as experienced as you at Spherion, that has been in the trenches for 11 years with this type of thing, can't give to a kid, can't give, and not like I'm super old or something, but I'm almost 40 now. And it's like, the things that have benefited me most in the past is being self-starting,
Right.
being accountable, being humble, being, because I can do whatever. I've taught myself how to do social media and websites and all that type of stuff, and I can write a sentence and all that type of stuff. But if you aren't those type of things, it's a cultural thing. Once you get into, like we're talking about, the company's culture, if there is a culture of accountability and responsibility and that type of stuff, that's what makes a company successful.
Right.
If it's in Conroe or in Timbuktu.
Right. And so again, the school districts are very aware that they're doing what they can within the confines of of public education to bridge those gaps. And there's no doubt that some of that communication needs to start at home. But
Parents, get on your horses, y'all. Dang.
Well, I don't
calling
blame
y'all
the
out.
teachers.
Yeah.
There's
Right.
no doubt about that.
Right.
I do not blame the teachers, but it is a passion of ours, and we talk about it often at Spherion, is what can even when we're onboarding our candidates and to go to jobs, we do take some responsibility of if we haven't told them what the basic expectations are on the job, then we've failed because we haven't communicated. We've got to we have to take some self-responsibility we have to tell them that. We have to tell them, we have to assume they don't know it. And that's not to say, no, I mean, we want to do that to every candidate because we want to make sure that our most successful candidates, they understand the expectations of them when they arrive through those doors the
It
first
looks
day.
good for
So-
everyone. Like, it looks good on
That's
you
right.
guys. They'll come back to you and find more candidates through you.
Right.
It looks good for the person that gets the job because then they get to stay somewhere and get some tenure and get,
That's right.
promoted and all that good stuff. So, I mean, it
But
benefits
again,
everyone.
So the school districts are, I know they're trying to say, how can we teach those soft skills, on a more regular basis? I know they're trying, and they're doing a great job with the hard skills. They are definitely Texas has taken a stance, I think, across the state to say, we know what the future looks like in the skills gap, and we've got to do something about it.
It's hard to be everything to everybody.
That's right. It is. It is.
Sure. Well, before we wrap up, I'll go over the other events that we're having.
The other awesome, most
events
important,
we're
great
having.
events.
Of course, we're having lots of great ribbon cuttings throughout the month of November. So I won't name them all, but you can go to our website at conroe.org to check those out. We would love to have as many members and not yet members to come out for the ribbon cuttings. We will be having a professional business development session on Wednesday, November 13th from 8 to 9:30. And that is payment, fraud, and cybersecurity, which sounds totally great information. And that is $10 for members in advance, $15 at the door, and not yet members are $15. So very minimal. You get breakfast.
Yeah, you get breakfast courtesy of Primrose School of
Primrose,
Conroe.
yes.
And we're having a guy from the Dallas FedCom, from the
Yes.
Federal Bank of, I
So
mean,
that's going to be great information.
it's going to be really,
I'm
really
going
good.
to try and be on time for work that day so I can
The
attend that.
fastest growing C-suite job is in kind of cybersecurity. I
Yeah.
can't remember the exact name they're
Right.
calling that position, but that is
Yeah.
the fastest growing C-suite job,
Right.
Because it is a big issue.
Right.
I mean, people need
so
to
interesting.
know, all
Right.
of this stuff before the holidays, before they're running cards and taking information from their customers and that type of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, this is all going to be right at perfect time to make sure
For the
you,
holidays.
yeah,
Yeah.
literally can't afford to miss it.
Right. So you can pre-register on Conroe.org. Then the next day we're having morning mingle at Conroe's Incredible Pizza Company at 7:30. It's $10 in advance for members, 15 at the door, and $15 for not yet members. But please try and pre-register for that. And that day we're also having the volunteer appreciation luncheon, so you can have breakfast with us and lunch with us.
We aren't doing dinner though, so y'all got to go
No,
home.
not dinner that day. And then on the 21st, we're having fun after 5 at Citizens Grill, which will be, I'm sure, delicious as well. And that's free for everybody to attend. And the chamber will be closed on Thanksgiving, but we'll be back after that. And again, lots of ribbon cutting, so come out for that. I know our members would love to see great representation from our member community for that. So
Yeah.
check us out on Conroe.org. Our phone number is 936-756-6644, or come by the office at 505 West Davis. We would love to see you. And thank you so much for being
Thank
on the
you,
radio.
Courtney
This
and
has
Ashley.
been a
Appreciate
great,
it
Absolutely.
very
great,
much.
great show. Great information. And do we have a diplomat of the month?
Not that I'm aware of, but you know what? They all are because they're all the best.
That's true.
That's right.
I usually like to.
That
Yeah.
is
give a
a
shout out.
big.
We don't this
job.
month.
We don't this month, but we'll
Yeah.
shout out to all of them.
Absolutely.
Diplomats.
If you don't know what the diplomats are, they are absolutely super special volunteers that make an extra effort with the chamber. So we really, really do
Yes.
genuinely appreciate their hands and feet at the chamber for
Yes.
sure.
Absolutely.
Definitely. And we'll be back next month, which is December, whatever the first Tuesday of the month is for Chamber Chat,
Don't make us do math, okay?
or dates.
Math or dates or
And
calendars
if you
or
are
any
a
of that.
member of the Chamber and you want to be a guest on Chamber Chat, just contact me. We'd love
Holler
to
at
have
you girls.
Yeah, love to have you. It may just end up being an Ashley and Courtney show. We may ditch Brian.
That wouldn't be so bad. I think it'd be pretty
It used to
legit.
be 2 girls. It used to be me and Samantha. So
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. I like it. I think it's good.
yeah,
I ain't mad about it.
right. We used to say when Samantha and I did, it used to be Kathy Lee and Hoda. But we could be
yeah.
Jenna and Hoda now.
Yeah, we
Jenna,
can be.
She's
yeah.
coming back. She's
Right?
almost back.
I mean, you know, we'll just ditch Brian, right? Right, Dick?
Peace out, Brian. Sorry
We'll say,
about your
we'll say
luck,
our
son.
producer changed the format of it.
Exactly. It's all
We'll
Dick's
blame it on
fault.
Dick. Yeah. Okay. Are we? Do we have more? Do we have a few more minutes? Do I need to keep talking?
I mean, we can
We
still.
can keep talking. Visit us on social media.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Visit us on social media. Make sure you follow, like, all that type of stuff on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Pinterest, and YouTube. We're on all of them. So if you aren't following us on at least one, then you are doing yourself a huge disservice.
Yeah.
We're always putting stuff out. We're promoting our members. We're promoting our events. We are building relationships. And like I was telling Catherine earlier, we are the front door, the welcome mat to Conroe. So if you have any questions about the city, about business here, about finding a job here, it's a great place to check us out on social media.
Yeah.
So,
And get out and vote today.
yeah, get out and
Yes,
vote.
Get out and vote.
Business backs the
Absolutely.
bonds.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Have a wonderful week.
Yes. Have a wonderful week.
And
And
month.
we'll be back on next month for Chamber Chat
Deuces.
on Lone Star Community Radio.